Okay, hello guys, welcome to my channel. So in this video I'm going to discuss about the internet protocol concepts. Okay, internet protocol concepts. What is internet protocol, the fundamentals of protocol communication on the internet, and what is IP history, IP address, and internet protocol types IPv4 and IPv6. Okay, then IP address classes, class A, class B, class C, the different classes of IP address breakdown, and static, dynamic IP addresses, who assigns the IP address, and other internet protocols. Okay, so if you see the history of internet protocol, its development is began in 1974 by computer scientist Bob Kahn and Wintzer. It is frequently used in conjunction with the transmission control protocol or TCP. Together they are referred as TCP/IP. The first version, the major version of internet protocol is IPv4. The major version of internet protocol is IPv4, major version of internet protocol, and it is formally defined as RFC 791. The internet protocol that is also defined as RFC 791 by IETF, Internet Engineering Task Force. So the success of this IPv4 is IPv6, which was formalized by the IETF in 1998. IPv6. So this is the IP address, the Google, you can see the example of IP address. Okay, with the decimal point, the IP address of Google, IP address, then it is IPv6. Okay, IPv6. IP address, what is IP address? IP address is a number that identifying a computer. Okay, it identifies the computers or any another device on the internet. So using the IP address, we identify the unique device in a network. It is similar to the mailing address, which identifies where the postal mail comes from and where it should be delivered. Like our email, there is a unique email ID. So similar to that, there is a unique IP address. Okay, the source and destinations of data to be transmitted with the internet protocol. So the IPv4 address are 32-bit long. Okay, IPv4 are 32-bit long address, 32-bit, that is 4 bytes. An example of the IP address is here is the one example of IPv4. Okay, so that is for the google.com, and the maximum value of 32-bit number is 2 raised to 32. So there will be 4.3 billion IP address. Okay, maximum number of IP, maximum number, what is the maximum number of IPv4 address? What is the maximum number of IPv4 address is 2 raised to 32 addresses, that is 4.3 million, not million, billion, 4.3 billion unique IP addresses. So for the 32-bit number. Okay, so in 1980, so this was sufficient to address every network device. Okay, during the 1980, this IPv4 32-bit address, it was sufficient to address the every network device, but scientists knew that this space would quickly become the exhausted, and technologies like NAT have delayed the problem by allowing the many devices to use the single IP address. But a larger address space is needed to serve the modern internet. So that is the IPv6. that IPv6, so that is 2 raised to 6 120 bit data, 128 bits of data. Okay, IPv4 is a 32 bit data, 32 bit, the address size is 32 bit, that is 2 raised to 5. Okay, so IPv4, it is a 32 bit number, 32 bit address, and IP6, okay, not 2 raised to 6, okay, it is a 128 bit address, 128 bit address to store an address. Okay, 2 raised to, okay, IPv6 2 raised to 128 unique address, so that is about the size 340 duodecillion, is much larger than the IPv4. Duodecillion 340, 2 raised to 128 unique IP address. The IP address classes. Okay, so the IPv4 is 2 raised to 32 because 32 bit address, and IPv6 2 raised to 128. Okay, so IPv6 is a 120 bits of data to store the address. So next we will discuss the different IP address classes. Okay, IPv4 IP addresses. There are 5 classes of available IP ranges, that is class A, class B, class D, and class E. While only A, B, C are commonly used, there are 5 classes of IP address, but commonly used are class A, class B, and class C are commonly used, and each class allows a range of valid IP addresses. So here the class A IP address is, it starts from 1.0.0.1 to 126.255.255.254. It supports the 16 million hosts on each of the 127 network. Okay, so class A, the class A range is 1.0.0.1 to 126.255.255.254. There is a class A range. Okay, and it supports 16 million hosts on each of the 127 network. Then class B, it supports 65,000 hosts. Okay, class B, the IP address is to 128.1.0.1 to 191, 128 to dot 1.0.1 to 191.255.255.254. That is the range of class B IP address range. 65,000 hosts can it connect. Okay, so 1 to 126, that is class A. Then 127 is reserved. Okay, so 128 to 191. Then class C is 192.0.1.1, 0.1.1 to 223.255.254.254. So 192 to 223, that supports 254 hosts on each of the 2 million networks. Okay, 2 million network. So 223.255.254.254, that is 192 to 223, that is class C address. Then class D address, that is reserved for the multi-classed group, and class E, that is reserved for the future use or research or development process. Class D means that is 224.0.0.0 to 239.255.255.255, 224 to 239. Then the class E is 242 to 254.255.255.254. Okay, so class A, that is 0 to 1 to 1. Class A, the Range is address range is 1 to 126, class B 128 to 191, class C 192 to 223, class D 224 to 239, class E 240 to 254. Okay, so the range, suppose this 127 120 was not there, so it is reserved for the loop back or the local host. Loop back or local host. Example 127.0.0 is the loop back address, and the range 255.255.255.255 it broadcasts to all the hosts on the local network. It broadcasts to all the hosts on the local network. So IP address is broken down into the octet. Okay, into the octet. So the range is from 0 to 255 and translated into the binary to represent the actual IP address. So this 255.255.255.2 is broadcast to all the hosts in the local network. So here this is the decimal in the IP address. It is in the decimal, and their binary. Okay, so their binary in it is in this form. Okay, the binary of 255. Okay, and it is octal. Octal means 3 digits. Okay, 3 digits, 377. Okay, then FF is a hexadecimal. So break down the IP addresses into some table in this table form. Okay, so that is about the binary value and their conversions and all IP addresses. The most common default addresses assigned by home routers are shown below. Default address, these are called as default addresses. So as we know, the class A, the range is 1 to 126. Then class B 128 to 220, 191, 128 to 191. Class C 192 to 223. Then class D 224 to 239, and class E 240 to 254. Okay, 239 to 240 to 254. Okay, so the here the 192.168.1.0, this number is called as a network number, identifies the network as a whole and is not assigned to any device. This particular IP address 192.168.1.0, this is the network number. It identifies the network as a whole and it does not assign to any device. Then 192.168.1.1, it is a class C type of address. Okay, the common default address assigned to a gateway device. Okay, 1.1, it is a standard assigned to the gateway devices. Then 192.168.1.2, another gateway address. It may be assigned to a device or a network. So these are all reserved. These are all IP address that are reserved for the network. So 192.168.1.25, that broadcast address of a network. So the data sent to this address is automatically broadcast to the IP address 1 to 254. Okay, so this is a broadcast address. So let us see how do I adjust the setting of my home router. Okay, so if you ever tried the setting in your router, okay, so here there are some concepts, though this following diagram that illustrates how the home computer that might obtain IP address. So your home computer, how it obtains the IP address and send the data to the IP address on the another network. So this is your computer, it connects the computer to the router. So this is the router. The computer connects to the router using the TCP IP and asks for the local IP address. So in response to that, router responds and it gives the computer a local IP address. So this is the local IP address if you consider. Then your router, it requests the IP address to connect to the internet. So the internet service provider, it assigns a wireless, that is wide area network address. Server will assign this IP address. So while on the internet you request access to the computer of the server by entering the URL. How you request? So you can enter by with some URL. Okay. So you using DNS, domain name system, this address translated to IP address. Okay, this particular this name is translated to the domain name system. Okay, IP address. So your TCP/IP packet reaches its destination and communicates with the other computers, and it repeats the same steps. Okay. So these are the very important concepts. The main important is here class A, class B, class C, D, and class E.